Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Good evening. I'm Cody Johnson with your news from around the Columbia Basin for Monday, October 29th. Coming up, we'll tell you about a local teen who stopped a gang member from stealing his bike. We have a report on a Wenatchee woman who stole $57,000 from a business in Quincy. We'll also tell you about a request to help starve vampires and look at some other preparations for Halloween. Our spotlight story tonight reaches out to Wilson Creek, where one coach's run of 29 years appears to be coming to an end. We have your weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. And in sports, we have some highlights from the World Series and the Seattle Seahawks. Our top story tonight is about how a teenager stood up to a gang member in Moses Lake. A 28-year-old Moses Lake man is accused of trying to steal a bicycle from a Moses Lake teenager and now faces felony charges. Moses Lake police arrested Juan Salas and listed him as a gang member with the street name of Savage. He's charged with felony of robbery in the 2nd degree and the misdemeanor crime of assault in the 4th degree in Grant County Superior Court. Bail was set at $5,000. Salas allegedly met a 17-year-old male who was riding his Kink brand BMX bicycle, valued at $1,000. Salas reportedly pushed the victim off the bike and threatened to beat the teenager if he didn't give it to him. The teenager declined and was allegedly attacked by Salas. A friend of the victim held the bike to make sure it wasn't stolen. Another man who was listed as Salas's friend stood by watching the fight. Salas reportedly fled when a neighbor yelled at the group that police were on their way. The officer responding to the call was given a description allegedly matching that of Salas. He recognized it as fitting a pedestrian he saw earlier that was mad-dogging him as he passed in a patrol car. The phrase mad-dogging describes an act of defiance toward police where a person pushes out their chests, make insults, and displays other gang hand signs. The officer was quickly able to locate Salas and arrest him. Halloween is almost here, and people are getting ready for trick-or-treaters, including carving pumpkins. And here with that story is Ryan Lancaster.
Some people take Halloween pumpkin carving to a whole new level, such as New York artist Ray Villafane. He and other sculptors created a display at the New York Botanical Garden using some of the world's largest pumpkins.
He's like the harvester. He's harvesting his batch of pumpkins. He's going to be like a pumpkin zombie, and he's going to have he's going to be grabbing onto a bundle of vines, which will be attached to some of those pumpkin heads that Trevor and Chris carved over there on the table. And he'll be pulling them right out of the ground. We're going to try to recreate like a pumpkin patch here.
Villafane and other sculptors spent days creating the elaborate display, which must be constantly sprayed with water to keep from rotting. Pumpkin sculptor Andy Bergholtz.
Started out from one of these, and I just cut a head-sized chunk out of this 1,800-pound pumpkin and just whittled it away into this zombie head, just like it was whittling wood, you know, just sculpting as I go and trying to make it as gross and evil-looking as we can as we do it.
Grant County kiddos have several choices for how to spend Halloween this Wednesday. In Moses Lake, dozens of businesses will open their doors to trick-or-treaters around Sincaiu Square from 5 to 7 p.m. From 6 to 8:30 p.m., the Pioneer Village Senior Apartments will be open for trick-or-treating at 816 East Sharon Avenue. Shops around downtown Ephrata will also be open to trick-or-treating from 4 to 6 p.m., while the city of Quincy invites the costume masses to trick-or-treat downtown from 4:30 to 6 p.m. The town of Mattawa is beginning a new trick-or-treating tradition this year. Residents are invited to line up their vehicles along Government Way with trunks decorated for the holiday and filled with treats. Kids can then move down the line to trunk or treat. The event is organized by the Mattawa Community Day Committee and will be held Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Trunk judging begins at 4:30 p.m. For those kids who'd like to turn their candy collection into cash, some local dentists are offering to buy back Halloween candy at fair market value in an effort to save teeth from a gruesome fate. Dr. Craig Harder at Moses Lake Family Dentistry, for one, is offering a buyback opportunity this Thursday from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Ryan Lancaster reporting.
Thanks, Ryan. Trick-or-treaters can stop by the iFIBER studio here in Ephrata at 135 Basin Street on Halloween for some treats and a chance to show off their costumes live on TV. iFIBER 1 will broadcast live from our lobby starting about 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. That broadcast will also be live on the internet and mobile devices at iFIBER1.com. We'll also do a rebroadcast later that night, and that should be a lot of fun. Tracy Young is accused of writing checks to herself and skimming deposits for more than $57,000 while working for Milbrandt Management in Quincy. The 30-year-old Wenatchee woman is charged with theft in the first degree in Grant County Superior Court. She was released from jail on a signature bond. Young worked for the company for about a year. When she took a leave of absence, the person filling in for her noticed discrepancies that led the company owners to discover money was missing. A Quincy police officer drove to her home in Wenatchee on October 23rd and questioned Young. She allegedly told him she wrote checks to herself and took part of the cash deposits, then altered the books to cover the theft. Young reportedly gave police a statement and said the money was used to purchase a $6,000 laptop computer, but most of the money went to her boyfriend who was involved with drugs. The company iPhone was provided to police as evidence with a picture of the laptop sitting on top of a pile of $20 bills. The Inland Northwest Blood Center is asking people to help starve a vampire this Halloween season by giving blood where it counts to those in need. The organization is holding a blood drive tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Samaritan Hospital in Moses Lake. Each blood donation has the potential to save 3 lives, according to organizers. Donors will receive a special edition Starve a Vampire t-shirt while supplies last. For more information, visit inbcsaves.org, or you can call 1-800-423-0151. A line break interrupted 911 phone service yesterday in areas of Moses Lake, Warden, and Othello. At about 1 p.m., CenturyLink identified a cable break near State Route 17 and Cunningham Road. Spokesperson Carrie Zimmer said it was caused when a contractor cut through an underground fiber optic cable with a backhoe. About 5,700 telephone customers were affected, as well as more than 500 internet users. Adams County Sheriff Doug Barger said the line was repaired just after 8 p.m. last night. All 911 lines, as well as regular phone lines, were down for the area. Barger said the 911 lines for cellular phones were also out. Washington retailers have begun ramping up for the holiday season, but the number of seasonal hires is expected to be less than a year ago. Economists with the State Employment Securities Department expects about 13,000 additional retail hires through this year's holiday season, down from nearly 14,000 a year ago. To make it easier for people who are shopping for seasonal jobs, the state's WorkSource system has created an online holiday job marketplace located on go2worksource.com. That site allows job seekers to shop by geographic area, job titles such as cashier, salesperson, and greeter. The Ephrata High School Key Club members are trick-or-treating for non-perishable food donations for the Ephrata Food Bank. Students are visiting homes around Ephrata tonight, beginning at 6 p.m. The Key Club asks residents to have food in bags and ready for pickup. For more information, call 509-797-5649. The State Department of Corrections is looking for more people with arrest warrants. Each of the people you see here have warrants for their arrest and are wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these individuals, the DOC asks that you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day, or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We'll be right back after these messages with the latest from our iFIBER 1 Weather Center.